Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well and kindly confirm if I am audible. Just let me cross verify this so that there ain't any issue in the streaming. Just a second. ठीक है, correct. So I am audible and the video is also clear. Just me also let me verify the voice if it is coming. So voice is also audible. Now we are supposed to discuss the current affairs for the week of April. Third week of April, that is between 16 to 23. So in the next 50 minutes, we are going to discuss all the relevant and important news from the third week. And we are also going to have certain practice question, the MCQ based question, which if you are willing, you can participate in solving those questions alongside me. So the first news that we have here, before moving ahead, if you are not already on board on the Oliveboard app, try to do as soon as possible, because all the important material, PDFs, all these things you get there along with monthly current affairs magazine, which is very important for your preparation. And those of you who are trying to get a one-stop solution for your banking preparation, you can take part in this banking selection kit, which include everything that basically you require, whether it is GK Blast and the Blast magazine, whether it is 2000 mock PDF, live classes, and the books with the other important features. So the first news that we have here is regarding the IMF, which has forecasted a growth in India's GDP for the upcoming year, and this forecast is around 6.5%. So there are a lot of bodies which have made similar type of, you can say, predictions. For example, Moody's downgraded it. Moody's is also a credit rating agency. It downgraded our GDP forecast, the growth forecast, from 6.8 to 6%, whereas on the other hand, IMF has maintained the growth prospectus of the country, citing a 6.5% growth rate. Now the reason are partially similar, and there is some dissimilarity also. For example, Moody's has downgraded our rating, which I think we have covered in the March current affairs portion, primarily due to the Middle East chaos that is happening. All right, and due to this Middle East chaos, a lot of consignments, the vessels, they are not able to come on time, which is increasing the interest cost, which is also increasing the logistic cost, and also troubling the commoners. So Indian economy depend upon most of these things, whether it is petrochemical, whether it is crude oil, whether it is the LPG, PNG, etc. And 55% of our crude oil needs are fulfilled by these Middle East or the Gulf countries. Okay. Apart from that, we are dependent upon this major pathway, that is Strait of Hormuz, for the LPG that comes to India, and 90% of this LPG comes from this particular strait, the narrow strait, which is called as Strait of Hormuz. This is for the crude oil, and 90% is for the LPG. Apart from that, petrochemical, nobody is discussing. Petrochemical is also very much important. All right, the petrochemical is utilized in the plastic industry. For example, everything that I am surrounded with currently, 65% of this is dependent upon that petrochemicals, that we largely import. And apart from these petrochemicals, this petrochemical is also utilized in the contraceptive industry. Birth control instruments also, they are being utilized. Okay. So Moody's has cited this revision. They have downgraded our GDP growth forecast due to primarily this particular reason. Whereas IMF has highlighted that we are going to grow by 6.5%. It has also mentioned that currently India has slipped from 4th position to the 6th position as far as the GDP ranking is concerned, and according to them, this is going to be something very temporary, and the reason for this is primarily the depreciation of the Indian rupee, the depreciation or the fall of the Indian rupee, which is mostly due to, firstly, the Middle East crisis, and secondly, what the RBI has realized, the IMF is not mentioning it, the RBI has realized that rupee is also the fall is also accelerated due to great amount of NOP, that is the net open position of the Indian banks, for which RBI has already applied a cap in the April end circular. Okay, that you cannot at any given point by the end of the day, you cannot have NOP of more than $100 million. So these are the solutions that RBI is trying to rapidly implement, but the rupee fall is very serious from 88 to 89 to 90 to touching 94, 95. The rupee has significantly fallen, and which has also resulted in our slipping to the 6th position. But according to IMF, despite these things, India is supposed to grow in a good way. Reason kya hai uska? What is the reason? Reason is basically the cancellation of the Trump tariff. Trump has utilized the EEPA, the Economic Emergency Powers Act, and using that particular act, he has put 50% tariff on a lot of countries. But the Supreme Court of United States in the beginning of the year 2026 has mentioned that Trump was not having the right to univocally basically apply this EEPA. This can only be done by the support of the Congress. The US Congress is having that particular power. The president himself alone univocally cannot do that. So they have discarded that, but Trump still has a lot of other measures to inflict tariffs temporarily and in the long run also. But IMF is not acknowledging those other sections which can enable Trump to again put tariffs on the countries, and it has cited that the tariff which has fallen from 50% to 10 to 15% for most of the country is going to be significant contributor in this GDP growth drive. Okay, so this was the first news, and pertaining to this, there are certain static portions that you should be aware. For example, the origin of IMF can be traced back to the Bretton Woods Conference, which resulted in the formation of IMF in the year 1944 to prevent any type of global financial crisis like that happened in the 1930s. The headquarters of IMF is in Washington, D.C. Current MD is a Bulgarian nationality individual named as Kristalina Georgieva. Now, in this particular news where the IMF forecast was mentioned, there was a term that was SDR basket. I hope you do understand what is SDR basket. Simply, you can think of it as a basket or a collection of world's 5 most powerful or the dominant currencies, which includes dollar, euro, pound, and apart from that, the Chinese and the Japanese currencies, that is the yuan and also the yen is included in this particular basket. I hope this particular news is crystal clear to all of you. If you do have any problem, let me also open the chat section to see if you do have any questions pertaining to what we are talking about. All right, no such doubts till now. If you face any doubt or difficulty, if something you are not able to understand, you can ask me to clear that in a more simpler way in the chat section. Okay, and stay tuned with this particular video towards the end. I hope you are going to solve a lot of questions, practice question, MCQ question from the topics that we are discussing here. Next news is regarding the record external sector performance as far as the Indian export is concerned for the FY 2026. So we have been able to generate a massive revenue of around $860 billion in FY 26 from the export. Okay, India is largely focusing upon manufacturing a lot of things. This is our long time ambition. We have to manufacture everything. We have to reduce our import dependence. We have to narrow our trade deficit, and we have to try to manufacture more and more things to sell it to other countries. Okay, I hope you do understand what is trade deficit. See, we import a lot of things from other countries, a lot of things that we do not manufacture, it comes from other countries. Okay, and we also export a lot of things to the other countries. So we take things from other countries and we also provide things to other countries. So there is an exchange to and fro of goods, services, merchandise, everything that happens. Now, if our import is very large as compared to what we are exporting, if we are buying way more than what we are selling to other, it is going to widen up our trade deficit, which is going to be negative for the country. It is not a very good thing to have. Basically, the idea is that rather it should be very near, or what we are importing should always be lesser than what we are exporting to the other countries. So we have this record is regarding the performance of the export sector. So we have exported goods, services, merchandise, etc. of a value amounting to $860 billion. It is a big amount, but if you compare it with India's import, we have significantly imported a massive goods and services valuing to around $960 billion. Okay, so there is a good trade deficit of around 110 to 120 billion dollar, which has widened over the long period of time, it has widened. Instead of getting narrower, instead of getting lesser, it has been widened. Okay, so that is the news which was mentioned regarding this record performance, but we also have to focus upon to increase it further or to reduce our import dependence upon the other countries. If we cannot boost this very soon, so at least we have to try to do a lot of manufacturing in India so that import can come down. Now, if you see the breakdown of this particular export of $860 billion, it has been seen that the merchandise or the physical good that is being sent to other countries, it has constituted the larger chunk of this 860 billion, that is around $440 billion. Whereas the services that we are basically exporting to other countries, our software engineers are coding for companies based in America, etc. So that is valued to be around nearly $420 billion. So there is a gap of the merchandise or the physical goods sector is higher. It's as far as the number is concerned, but if you see the growth, it has remained stagnant. There has been no big growth as far as the merchandise export is concerned. Whereas the service export, despite the Middle East chaos, it has grown by 8%, which is a good thing. Acha. For this total $860 billion, what is the major constituent, what we are generating most amount of revenue from exporting? These products include petrochemical product, engineering and minerals. A lot of people might think that we have just mentioned that India imports a lot of crude from Middle East, and 55% crude from Middle East and 30% from other countries like Russia, etc. whenever we are allowed to import from Russia. So how come this petroleum product is mentioned here? Petroleum product does not mean crude oil. We import a lot of crude oil, but we transform it into final products. All right, petroleum product, and then we export it to a lot of other countries. Why? Because we have some of the largest oil refineries on the planet. In fact, the biggest oil refinery on the planet is present in the state of Gujarat. It is owned by Reliance Industry, the Jamnagar oil refinery. Okay, so you should be aware of these facts as well. Moving ahead, this is regarding any news from the second, any doubt or question from the second question? No doubts. So we'll move ahead and let's talk about the notification regarding Startup India Fund of Fund 2.0. So India has notified that they are going to try to promote these startups more and more. There are two ways of promoting the startup companies. If we want to boost the startup ecosystem in India, there are two ways. Firstly, you can direct put money into the startups. Government can directly put money in the startup, but that is a risky bet. And also there is a lot of evaluation that has to be done, which is a good company. There are so many startups in India, and more than the startups which become successful, there are great number of startups which fail in this particular journey. So how come the government has to spend a lot of energy, research to find out which are the good companies? And the government is not having expertise in everything, so it has to outsource people or hire them basically to find it out. Promoter kahan par achhe hain, which company is doing good, where the scope is more, which we need to promote more, which is just for let's say time pass, which startups are just doing it for the time pass or generating money out of it. So this is not a good way to directly put money or give money to the startup. The other way is a better way, that is investing or promoting these startup through what we call as the AIF. AIF क्या होता है? AIF is Alternative Investment Fund. Just like if you guys have to invest your money, you are going to either put it into gold, you are either going to put it into real estate, you are either going to put it into the stock market or mutual fund product. ठीक है ना? You can do SIPs also. But people who are very rich, they do not want to put their money into general stuff where everybody is putting their money. They want to do something else. They have larger, you can say, risk potential. So they find out the fund managers with 20 years, 30 years of expertise who have continuously outperformed the benchmarks, who have continuously outperformed, and they have generated massive amount of returns. For example, if a mutual fund is giving 20% CAGR over past 5 years, these fund managers often at times have given a CAGR of 28 to 30%. All right, and this is a massive CAGR, because if you are having a CAGR of around 25-26%, in 3 years your money doubles. So having a CAGR of 28 to 30%, it is a very big thing. So often these fund managers charge more amount of money than the mutual fund is going to ask you for managing your portfolio, है ना? Because mutual fund में बहुत सारे लोग आ रहे हैं, a lot of people are there in the mutual fund who are investing their money. So the fund managers are going to generate income from that. But in the AIF, only the high net worth individual, ultra high net worth individual, these are going to come and participate in that. So where are these exactly investing? What are the other sources of investment? They can invest into startups. They target a lot of startups. There are other things also, but since the news is about a startup, we'll talk about startups only. So if they are going to analyze each and every startup, they are going to do research. Just like for stocks, you are doing research, seeing the balance sheet, analyzing the balance sheet, you are going to do research for the startup. Nike is doing well, or which company is doing well before they are listed. Currently, Nike is listed. Currently, Swiggy is listed. Zomato is listed. But at one point of time, when they were in the incipient stages, somebody would have find out and put their money. Now they are going to generate, when they are going to get listed in the stock market, a massive amount of profit is going to be achieved by the initial funders. Okay, na? So AIF usually put money in the startup. So they are doing things, they are making things easy for the government. Government does not have to research it. You know? These AIFs. Acha, now if you are selecting one AIF, your money is only going in few set of startups. But if you are selecting a lot of AIFs altogether, so it is going to result into formation of what we called as a fund of fund. A fund which is made by merging a lot of funds. So it is called as a fund of fund, or FOF. So this way your money is indirectly, the government money that they are keeping aside, that is 10,000 crore money, is going to be distributed across a lot of good startups, specifically those startups which are into cutting edge technology, which are not just trying to be a platform like Zepto, Flip, etc. That they are trying to connect the sellers with the buyers, which are trying to do something which is unique, technological, AI, semiconductor, important things for the country. So they are trying to invest in those type of startup. Acha, the implementing agency for this particular is the SIDB. That is the SIDB. And the governance, if you talk about the governance, it is chaired by the Secretary of DPIIT, that is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. AIF is mentioned here, full form Alternative Investment Fund. Okay? Chaliye. Now, Startup India program, with which this news is related, it has started in the year 2016, and we are trying to create as many as unicorn companies as possible. I hope you do understand what is unicorn company. Any company which is valued at $1 billion, $1 billion, it is called as a unicorn startups. So there are total of around, this is the wrong number currently we have 127 to 128 unicorn status startup, not the companies. There are many companies. We are talking about startups. We are having currently 127 to 128 startup which have achieved this unicorn status. And the latest one was in April, which was a company named as Credit B. Credit B. ठीक है ना? I hope this part is clear to you. Sir, should I get this PDF? Is it in app or any Telegram channel? After your explanation, I'm new to Batch Foundation 3.0. Chaitanya, I think you will be able to find this. I am supposed to upload this on the portal, and after the portal, it is going to be like added to somewhere to your probably most of those batches by the backend team. So I'm not sure exactly where this is going to be visible. On Telegram, the links for the video is mostly given, but the files I'm not sure. I'll be asking it to someone, or if you are connected to some counselor or somebody by the backend team, you can ask them. They will be able to tell you better. Next news is regarding the Bank of Baroda, which has partnered with Reliance Jio feature phones. I hope you do understand what is a feature phone, the keypad phone that we used to use in the old days. So Reliance Jio basically sells this particular product. Most of us today, we are buying this 4G, 5G smartphone, handset, Samsung, Apple, all these phones. But a lot of people, specifically the commoners, the rural people or the elderly people, they are still stuck on those feature phone, keypad phone. It is more efficient for them to use it, because there is a generation gap. They are not very much interactive with the latest technology. So these phones are good, but the problem is that in the tribal areas or in the rural areas, village areas, if a farmer is going to buy seed or fertilizer or anything, he's supposed to do the payment, but he does not have any option. Internet connectivity is not there. He's not very much efficiently using these smartphone, etc., or other avenues. So how come we are going to integrate them with the Digital India program? How come we are going to transform the rural economy into cashless economy? So a lot of companies are partnering for the same. So recently, this Bank of Baroda has partnered with this Jio phone, and they have launched a phone which is called a Jio Phone Prima 4G, on which the Jio World Light application is going to be there, portal is going to be there. Through this particular application or portal, you can directly do the payment without internet connectivity through the IVR. So this has been made possible due to the UPI 123 Pay. UPI 123 Pay. This is the technology which was introduced by RBI and NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India and Reserve Bank of India. You should be aware what was the foundation day or establishment day for both of these bodies, when NPCI came into being and RBI came into being. If you are aware of that, tell me in the comment section. When RBI was established and when NPCI was established. Acha, you should also know about certain static GK portion. For example, who was the first governor of RBI? Who was the first Indian governor of RBI? Which committee is responsible for recommendation of the RBI, due to which RBI Act came into being? When RBI was nationalized, what are the important product that has been launched by NPCI? Among NEFT, RTGS and IMPS, which product is regulated and controlled by NPCI and which product is controlled by RBI? If you are sure about this, comment and answer that in the chat box. Moving ahead. Chaliye, Bank of Baroda static information is given there. It was founded in the year 1908 by Sayaji Rao Gaikwad III, and the nationalization along with a lot of banks happened during the time of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in the year 1969, when she was the third Prime Minister of the country. Acha, sorry, NPCI, I have mentioned it, so there is no reason to ask this. You should be aware. Now this is mentioned here 2008, but other things are not here, so you should be answering those in the comment section if you are sure that what are the products that is managed and launched by NPCI. Coming to news pertaining to POSCO and JSW steel mill which is being started in Odisha. You must be aware, you must have heard in the news if you are doing certain daily news coverage. If you are not a working professional, you must be getting a lot of time for the preparation. If you are a working professional or into colleges, you must be getting lesser time for reading the newspaper. And for that, you do not need to. You can stay connected with our YouTube portal and the online batches, paid batches. Most of the things are going to, in fact, everything is going to be covered. But if you are doing self-reading from your end also, trying to enrich your vocabulary, etc., for the purpose of examination, you must have heard about the president of South Korea who recently visited India, and they are trying to strengthen the cooperation, economic cooperation between India and South Korea. The target is to take the India and South Korea bilateral trade from $25 billion, which is the value of 2024-25. Currently it is around 27-28 billion, but the value last recorded, that is $25 billion. The target is to take it to $50 billion in next 4 years, that is by 2030. So a lot of things we are doing together as far as the maritime security is concerned, as far as AI is concerned, as far as semiconductor manufacture is concerned, we are partnering with each other. So this POSCO is also a South Korean company, and it has partnered with one of the leading, for example, after Tata Steel, a leading steel producer, that is JSW Steel. This JSW Steel is part of the larger JSW group, which has a lot of companies and subsidiaries. So a joint venture is being formed, that is a 50-50 partnership is going to be formed between these two companies, and they are going to inaugurate and they are going to integrate a steel plant with a annual capacity of 6 million tons. 6 million tons capacity steel plant in the state of Odisha. The target of the completion year is 2031. There are a lot of special things about this particular thing. What are special thing? It is going to be a green steel. What is green steel? Steel manufacturing traditionally utilizes a lot of energy which comes from fossil fuel. You have to burn fossil fuel for manufacturing this particular steel. So that is not environment friendly. Green steel basically is a type of steel where in the manufacturing you are not utilizing fossil fuel, you are not burning a lot of coal. All right, so how come that is possible? The POSCO's low carbon technology, it is world class technology for which POSCO is having a patent also, and JSW's renewable energy network. Most of the you can say the premises or most of the units, industrial units which are owned by JSW, they are transitioned completely on the renewable energy. That means that they, instead of using fossil fuels, coal, etc. to power, they utilize what we call as green hydrogen. How you get this green hydrogen as a fuel? By electrolysis, by a process of electrolysis, where hydrogen is separated from oxygen. Okay, and this oxygen that you are getting here, it is used for the as a fuel in the industries. All right, so this is going to eliminate and reduce the carbon emission, which will make it a eco-environmental friendly operation as well. ठीक है ना? चलिए, you should be aware of the fact that Odisha is also the highest iron ore producer state in the country. Moving ahead, acha, one more thing, JSW Steel is not the only such company to have entered. We are covering, I think, the third month of current affairs. In the fourth month current affairs, you will read about that Tata Group. Tata also has a steel plant which is in Jamshedpur, that is Tata Nagar, near the capital of Jharkhand, which is Ranchi, the state to which or the city to which Mahendra Singh Dhoni also belonged to. Yeah? So Tata Steel is also partnering with a German-based company, basically to have a similar green steel production plant in the state of Jharkhand, in the town of Jamshedpur. Moving ahead, India's first commercial chip fab says Dholera has been notified as the India's first commercial chip fab says. What is this chip? Chip means here semiconductor. Okay? Fab means fabrication or the place where the manufacturing of the chip takes place. All right. Says here means the special economic zone. It is a status or a designation. So Tata has been the Tata Semiconductor Manufacturing Private Limited, which is part of the Tata Group. It has been allocated, our government has notified a SEZ for Tata's mega project. So what is SEZ? SEZ is the area which is basically designated for increasing manufacturing, incentivizing manufacturing, promoting the export, so that India can export more and more. We have discussed in the first news, it is a good thing to export more and import less. So for that, government provide a lot of facilities to the companies so that they can start these type of plants, because this is a heavy investment and a heavy dedicated plant. All right. So this status has been given to Dholera, which is located in the state of Gujarat. Now, what are the perks of a place being declared as a SEZ? If Tata is having this special economic zone area in Dholera, what is the perk that Tata is going to get, or Tata Group's subsidiary is going to get? Firstly, the net profit. When you are manufacturing anything, you are going to export it to other countries. No? Semiconductor ki demand, it is crazy these days. Everybody needs semiconductor. There is shortage of semiconductor. So when you are manufacturing things, when the like operation starts and production starts, you are exporting these things. You are generating money. You are generating profit. Now for the first 5 years, you are not like liable to pay any tax on that. For example, it is going to be totally duty free for the first 5 years, 100% duty free or tax free. For the next 5 years, you only have to pay 50% of your liability. For example, if the tax amount is going to be 2 crore, for the first 5 years, no tax had to be paid. For the next 5 years, you only have to pay 1 crore. After that, the regular taxation will start. So this is a very good incentive for the company to start their operation. Apart from that, for manufacturing certain things, you need components, raw material. Raw material can come from various other countries. So when you import these raw material from other countries, you pay custom duty. So in the area which is notified as a SEZ for a particular company, you do not have to pay this custom duty as well. I think कहीं पे लिखा होगा custom duty भी नहीं होती है. And the good part is that there is no bureaucratic hurdle or delay. Most of the time, any good thing. For example, if you have seen that movie of Rajnikant, Shivaji the Boss, he was trying to do good for people, but there is a lot of red tapeism. Everybody is asking money, like give me bribe, this, that. So there is a lot of red tapeism, which creates a lot of delay. So this particular SEZ area provides a single window clearance. You get everything from a single window. You do not have to go to multiple points of connection. All right. So static general knowledge pertaining to this says India currently has more than 368 special economic zones. Out of this 368, all are not functional. Only 280 are operational. For example, Tata has just got this notification, but it is not operational. So it will not be counted as the operational, although it is a notified one. Okay. Now, the biggest SEZ in India is the Mundra SEZ in Gujarat, which is owned by the Adani family. The first SEZ in India is the very famous Kandala SEZ, which is also in Gujarat. But as you're seeing the name of Gujarat everywhere. Dholera is also Gujarat, Mundra is also Gujarat. This Kandala, the first is also in Gujarat. One of the latest is also in Gujarat. The largest is also Gujarat. So you might think that Gujarat is having all the SEZ. No. The highest number of SEZ in India is with Tamil Nadu. total number of 49 such SEZs, followed closely by Karnataka. Then there are other states like Maharashtra, etc., and other South Indian states like Andhra also in the particular list. Now this is also part of India's broader semiconductor mission, where we are going to try to increase the production of chips. Okay? Chips is, again, it is not Uncle Chips, this is the semiconductor chip we are talking about. Any doubts till this particular portion? We are moving to the next news now. This one is a very small news, relatively a very smaller news here, and this is regarding India Post, which has recorded a great revenue for the FY26. The revenue which is generated by the company is roughly around 15,000 crores. So 15,000 massive is a massive amount for a government company or for a public sector company, specifically in the times when the private sector like DTDC, Blue Dart, and a lot of other companies are doing so well. Like Porter, etc., doing so well as far as the shipment, logistic, etc. is concerned. Now, the total revenue is around 15,300 crore. Out of this, the 69% growth came from the parcels, the usual parcels, and then the 13% growth was also seen in the saving banks, that is operated by the Indian Postal Office or the Indian Postal Services. The best circle which was reported was Rajasthan. For example, if you are having target for every region that we have to generate this revenue, this much revenue from this state, this revenue from this state. So Rajasthan, for example, let's suppose it was given a target to earn 100 rupees from the operation. So it was able to earn more than that, 102%. It was the best performing circle as far as the FY26 is concerned. Now, certain static general knowledge relating to this. For the proper operation, the Indian Postal Services has divided the entire India into total of 9 zones. 8 zones are basically regional and 1 is the army. So often when somebody asks your pin code, the first digit basically it highlights the pin zone. Now, talking about the pin code, this pin code system was started on Independence Day of 1972, just 1 year after the liberation of Bangladesh, our victory with the war with Pakistan. And it was started by Shri Ram Bhikaji Velankar. Now the first post office in India started by Warren Hastings during the colonial days in the year 1774. Okay. Post Office Act was introduced in the year 1854, around, you can say, 70 years after the first post office came into being, and this particular act came into being by the efforts of Lord Dalhousie. You must have heard his name in history lectures. Specifically, if you are side by side also preparing for SSC, so these facts are something which you must have been told about. चलिए, अगला क्या है? So this is not very important. Only 2 facts you should be aware about this particular news. The 9th Indian Ocean Conference was held in Mauritius. Okay. What is the role of this particular ocean conference? It tries to build national, international cooperation, that is cooperation among the countries as far as the maritime security is concerned. These days it is also very much important because the war that is going on in the Middle East, the transport and the movement of the shipment, it has been largely affected. Ships are being bombarded. India has also started a mission called as the Urja Shakti or the Urja Raksha. So under that mission, we are trying to do what? We are trying to protect the vessels. We are trying to protect the shipment. We are trying to send certain escorting vehicles, certain frigates, which is going to protect our shipment so that it does not get bombarded or any other issue does not take place in the international water. So this particular type of conference basically focuses upon maritime security, regional security in the waters, which can boost trade and economic cooperation amongst the country. So the theme for this particular ocean conference was collective stewardship in Indian ocean governance. Now this is also part of India's 10 years old vision, which is called as Sagar. Sagar stands for security and growth for all in the region. It tries to make sure that all the regions which are concerned with basically the Indian Ocean region, there is a security for all, there is growth for all, and there is cooperation among the members who are sharing this particular international water body. ठीक है ना? चलिए. It also highlighted certain non-traditional threats like piracy, that is theft of the consignment in the water. Now, these type of conferences are regulated, conducted, or the core body that is responsible for this is called as IORA, that is Indian Ocean Rim Association. And the secretariat for this IORA is in Mauritius. The capital of Mauritius is Port Louis and the currency of Mauritius is Mauritian rupee. ठीक है ना? आगे बढ़ते हैं. अच्छा, this is a very short news. Bihar has got its 21st chief minister, that is going to be Mr. Samrat Chaudhary. Certain general knowledge regarding Bihar which you should be aware of. This is one of the states, one of those states where there is bicameral assembly. Bicameral assembly means that the assembly is divided into lower and upper house. Just like the parliament, we have Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha, you know, the upper house is Raj Sabha and the lower house is Lok Sabha. Similarly, in a lot of crucial big states, we have these two houses. All right, the upper house, the lower house. So it is one of those states which has this bicameral system. Total assembly seat is not important from your examination perspective. The first CM is not important, and state symbols are also not important. You can ignore these. Moving to the recent decision by Apple. Apple has appointed John Ternus, who is going to be Apple CEO. Going to be Apple CEO means he is going to have that seat or position in September of 2026. Currently, for the next whatever months, 4 months, what is left, that is May, June, July, August, these 4 months, Mr. Tim Cook, who was the CEO till now, he is going to have the post. Okay, na? Now, anybody who is becoming this CEO of Apple, he must have significantly contributed somewhere in the company. So, John Ternus has significantly contributed in what we call as the M series chip. These are the most premium chips, that is, you can see them in the MacBooks. Most of the MacBooks have this M1, M2, M3 chips. Although nowadays they have started they have replaced the earlier low-cost MacBook with something called as MacBook Neo, where they have started using A Pro series, A18, A19 Pro series, which was basically used in the iPhones and the tablets, etc. initially, mostly iPhones. So they are now using this mobile-based chip, which a lot of enthusiasts, technology enthusiasts, they are not liking that idea. कि आप लैपटॉप में कैसे मोबाइल का प्रोसेसर यूज़ कर रहे हो. Although it is a very efficient chip, it is not a very regular chip, but still. About Tim Cook has significantly contributed in company's transition from a $350 billion company to a $4 trillion company. Now, Apple is the first US company to have achieved the feat to be a $1 trillion company in 2018 and $3 trillion company in the year 2028. Within a time period of around 4 years, it tripled its revenue. ठीक है, और यहाँ पर आपने देखा कि 4 ट्रिलियन को भी क्रॉस कर चुका है अभी. चलिए. Now this information is regarding FIU India, which has recently signed agreement or MOU with 2 regulators in India. FIU stands for Financial Intelligence Unit. The purpose of FIU is basically to curb any type of cyber criminal activity specifically pertaining to money laundering. Try to regulate the security system so that money laundering does not have. So it collects, organize, integrate a lot of information from everywhere, and it try to provide it to the other bodies, the police system, so that they can take adequate action to curb money laundering. Why? Because money is often used for financing the terrorism within the country. So that is not a good thing. But for that, you need a large level of cooperation with other bodies also, other organizations also, which also has a lot of data. So to be able to share seamlessly the information in real time with other bodies, FIU India, the Financial Indian Unit of India, has signed this agreement with 2 important regulators. One is the SEBI, I believe, and the other is the PFRDA. SEBI sees the entire market, share market, stock market, or your mutual fund, all the demat accounts that are present in the countries. And the PFRDA is the regulating body for the pension system. All right. So what happens a lot of time, this illicit money is often parked into small packets into the pension schemes or into the mutual fund or into other market instruments. So this creates a problem. and you are not able to track them if the FIU is not having intelligence or access to that information. So now this cooperation between these regulating bodies is going to create more transparency, greater surveillance, which is going to help the country to fight money laundering. FIU India is not something which is only in India. This type of FIU is in every country. This is the FIU India is the Indian FIU, but most of the country have this FIU, and these FIUs often follow what we call as the Egmont's principle. Egmont principle call for, or it set practice to have a greater information exchange between multiple FIUs. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. FIU India was established in the year 2004 under the Congress rule under UPA 1, and it reports to the Economic Intelligence Council of the country. SEBI, which is the regulating body for the stock market in India, the capital market, it is a statutory body established in 92. In 2026, currently Mr. Tuhin Kant Pandey is the chairperson of this SEBI. Talking about PFRDA, it stands for Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority of India. It is also a statutory body which was instituted by the Congress UPA 2 government. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं हम लोग. Now this news is regarding Delhi Dehradun Economic Corridor. PM Modi has inaugurated Delhi Dehradun economic corridor. It is a very important corridor for two purposes. One is the generic purpose, the other is the important person. Generic purpose, which is for people, it is going to reduce time between the two cities by 50%. Earlier it used to take around 6 hours to move from Delhi to Dehradun, 5.5 to 6 hours. Now it is going to take 2.5 to 3 hours. So it has reduced significantly the time period between the two cities. Second, it is also having Asia's longest elevated pathway for wildlife. So the reason in which this particular project is being built, there is a specific area of the expressway which passes through Rajaji National Park. कहाँ गया? Rajaji National Park, है ना? It is located in Uttarakhand. It is a famous tiger reserve. So when we are trying to do development, we are trying to do sustainable development. We do not want to affect the wildlife or anything in that particular region. All right. So we have elevated the expressway in that region where this national park is there, so that the animals can move in the underpass below this particular expressway without affecting the wildlife. They are not even able to see the vehicles walking, and also large walls are being created so that the noise is also not going to disturb the animal. So this corridor size or this particular elevation is of around 12 kilometer. I think it must be mentioned somewhere. Yes, 12 kilometer elevated corridor has been built here. Now it is built by NHAI. You must be aware of NHAI. Tell me in the comment section if you are aware when NHAI was established. NHAI is a statutory body which comes under Ministry of Road Transport and Highway, that is MORTH, and it is responsible for the construction, the building, the management of your national highways, and also the collection of toll. It also manages the FASTag etc. system through which the toll collection digitally happens nowadays. All right, they have utilized a EPC model here, engineering, procurement and construction. What is this model? Under this particular model, everything is basically done by the contractor. He basically takes the raw material, he basically employs the people, the laborers, he see the entire completion, the quality, etc., and he hands over the project to the government. Earlier, what model was being used? The tender was being passed, it was issued for a contractor, and the contractor was utilizing his own money to construct this particular highway or expressway, and then he used to be responsible for collection of the toll, due to which there were a lot of problem which was happening. So what government has it now? Government is going to give you money. You are going to apply for the tender, and then government is going to give you money, and with this money you are supposed to execute the complete project. So after completing, you are not liable to collect the taxes. Now that is government's responsibility, NHAI's responsibility to collect the toll tax, not yours. Moving ahead. Acha, those of you who are not still part of our super elite batches and those who are preparing seriously for banking examination, they can choose this super elite version. There are other versions also, but mostly the super elite version has all the features that is required for your complete one-stop solution preparation of the examination. Now the next news is regarding LIC's digital dive platform. LIC has recently launched two apps. One is the MyClick app and the other is the Super Sales Sarthi app. MyClick app is basically for the customer, where the Super Sales Sarthi is for the agents, है ना? And the tech platform that they are utilizing for the two apps, it is called as DIVE, that is Digital Innovation and Value Enhancement. Digital Innovation and Value Enhancement platform. It is going to have a lot of feature like paperless policy will be issued, loans will be provided, online policy revival or renewal can be done, and AI marketing tools which is going to help the agents. Okay. Now, I hope you are aware with the fact that LIC currently manages more than 260 million policies in the country. LIC was established or nationalized in the year 1956 by merging more than 245 different entities working in the life insurance sector. All right. Now, LIC operates the asset under control or asset under management of LIC currently is more than 50 lakh crore, and it is a dominant player as far as the life insurance market is concerned. Recently, in the month of March, IRDAI, which is the regulating authority for all the insurance companies in India, and there was a 1999 act through which IRDAI was established, and it became operational in the year 2000. So in the March 2026, IRDAI has retained certain companies in the list of DSIIs, that is Domestic Systematically Important Insurer, and LIC is one of those companies or insurance group apart from GIC Ray and New India Assurance Company. DSI basically is a list of companies which are too big to fail. The country cannot afford them, afford the loss of these institutions. If these companies fail, it is going to create a systemic problem as far as the financial ecosystem of the country is concerned. So you have to relate not only the static information pertaining to a news, try to integrate the other current affairs which are also in news, which will help you to integrate, consolidate the things, and also to retain it much in an easier way. Chaliye, these things I have already mentioned. Okay? IRDI also I have mentioned. Moving ahead, Amravati Quantum Reference Facility now the Chief Minister has recently launched these two facilities in Amravati in the Andhra Pradesh. Now these are quantum computer facilities. Okay? One facility is called as 1S, the other is called as Amravati 1Q. They are having quantum computers. Quantum computers are like next level. After supercomputers, they are the next level. They can simultaneously work on a lot of things. So they are super fast. They can do very complex, multiple complex calculation, which would take supercomputers 8 to 10 years to finish. They can do these calculations. The quantum computers can do it very soon in a very less amount of time. So these two centers have been opened in the state of Andhra Pradesh in Amravati, and one is it is mostly for academic, educational and scientific researches, whereas 1Q is mostly for the commercial purposes, industrial use and the commercial application purpose. This one Amravati 1S जो है आपका, ये शायद यहाँ पर आगे लिखा भी होगा. अच्छा नहीं, अभी यहाँ पर नहीं बताया, यहाँ पर इससे रिलेटेड स्टैटिक पोर्शन को बताया है कि दिस इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द नेशनल क्वांटम मिशन ऑफ द कंट्री which was approved in the year 2023 with a massive outlay and budget of 6,000 crore. And the nodal agency for this particular mission is Department of Science and Technology, established during the time period of Mrs. Gandhi, that is in 1971. Now, qubit, you should be aware of this basic term also, qubit. Just like when we talk about simple computers, we talk about bits. This is the language that the computer understands, the binaries, the 1 and 0. Here, the qubit is the basic unit of quantum information. It can be 0 or it can be 1 or it can be both at the same time. That enables it to process complex calculation and data in a much more efficient and easier way. Now what we are going to do, we are going to solve certain questions. If you are willing to solve it alongside, you can also give the answer in the comment section, and let's see how many of you were able to gain everything correctly which was mentioned. So if you are willing to answer, you can mention it like 1A, 1B, 1C. Let me just okay. Now the first question is, as per IMF World Economic Outlook April 26, what is the upgraded growth forecast for India for next year? Is it 6.1%? Is it B 6.5%? Is it C 7.0%? Or is it D, that is 6.8%? So anyone who is able to guess the answer correctly, the correct answer for this is going to be, for IMF it is 6.5%. So B is the correct answer. For Moody's, if the question was about Moody's, it would have been 6%, which is not in the option. Okay. All right. So Bhargavi has correctly mentioned it. 1 ka B. Correct. Next is India reached its highest ever export figure in the 2025-26 fiscal year. What was the total export value? I have given the breakdown of this particular amount also. How much import, how much export. So what was the total amount as far as this is concerned? Was it 970, 860, 800 or 119? So the correct answer for this is basically $860 billion. A was the correct answer. Correct. 2 ka A, yes. Next is the government has notified the Startup India. The government has notified the Startup India Fund of Fund 2.0 with a total corpus of how much crore? If you are able to recollect that what was the amount of this total corpus. Was it 5,000 crore or the 10,000 crore or 15,000 crore or 20,000 crore? Was it 5,000 crore? That is A. So we have discussed two different amounts and one of these is correct. There are 5,000 was not covered in any news, 15,000 was also not covered in any news. So the only two, I can give you a hint that the only two correct answer which are possible here are either it is 5,000 or either it is 10,000 or either it is 20,000. Now after the guess, I think you should be able to predict. Okay, so according to Bhargavi, it is B. Yes, so B is the correct answer, that is 10,000. Next question is, which bank partnered with Reliance Jio to launch the World Light application for feature phones? Was it State Bank of India, PNB, BOB or HDFC? Which bank has partnered with Reliance Jio in this regard? Any idea? Yes, correct. Fourth ka C, that is Bank of Baroda. Moving ahead, South Korea's POSCO and JSW Steel signed a $7.3 billion deal to build a steel mill in which Indian state? Is it Jharkhand? Is it Chhattisgarh? Is it Odisha? Is it West Bengal? POSCO and JSW, they are building a steel mill, and the state where they are building it, is it Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh or West Bengal? So the correct answer for this question, yes, correctly mentioned by Bhargavi, it is Odisha where they are building this. Next is India's first commercial chip fab says, that is the chip is here semiconductor. Fab here means fabrication, that is manufacturing of the chip. SEZ is the area which is notified as a special economic zone. All right. So the question is, which is going to be India's first commercial chip fab says established by Tata? Now this you have to tell in which location. Yes, B, Dholera is the correct answer. Next is which postal circle was named the best circle by achieving 102% of its revenue target in FY26. So India Post has recorded 15,000 nearly 300 crore 15,300 crore 15,300 crore revenue. Now there is one particular center or circle which has reported the highest target growth and achievement in this regard. So the correct answer for this is Rajasthan, which has recorded 102%. Okay. Moving to the next question, that is the 9th Ocean Conference IO0 with the theme collective stewardship was hosted in which country? Is it Seychelles? Is it Sri Lanka? Is it Mauritius or is it Maldives? 7th ka correct answer, Rajasthan is the correct answer. Talking about 8 ka C is Mauritius. Correct, absolutely correct. Then, okay, 9th, so by mistake I have already shown it, so let us not count it out. Who was sworn as the 21st Chief Minister? Mr. Samrat Chaudhary is the 21st Chief Minister. Who has been named as a successor of Tim Cook? So Mr. John Ternus is the correct answer. Moving to the next question. The Delhi-Dehradun Economic Corridor features Asia's longest elevated wildlife corridor. What is the length of this particular corridor? Is it 10 km? Is it 12 km? Is it 15 km? Or is it 20 km? What is the length of the Delhi-Dehradun Economic Corridor? Question number 11th. This is question number 11th. So what is the correct answer? Is it 10, 12, 15 or 20? 11th B. Correct answer, it is 12 km. Now, this can also be asked around which national park is it passing through? So in that case, you have to mention Rajaji National Park. Next question 12. What is the total budget approved for the National Quantum Mission, that is NQM? Question number 12. What is the budget of the National Quantum Mission, which is trying to focus upon the quantum, building the quantum technology or the quantum computation in the country? Any idea? So the correct answer for this is, for question number 12, yes, Bhargavi has mentioned it. It is correct. 6,000 crore is the correct answer. Moving ahead, LIC launched its new tech platform that is called as DIVE. Now the question is, what does DIVE stands for? Digital Innovation and Value Enhancement, Digital Investment and Virtual Enterprises, Digital Insurance and Volume Expansion, Data Integration and Verification Engine. So here the correct answer is A, Digital Innovation and Value Enhancement. Coming to question 14. The postal index number, that is PIN system, was introduced in India on August 15th of which year? Was it 47, 56, 1972 or 1984? So the postal index was introduced in the year 1972. Chaliye, so this was it. This was all for today. Tomorrow we'll be back with the remaining topics from the month of April. Fourth week is also left. I think tomorrow we have a session, if I'm not mistaken. We do have a session tomorrow also. And in that session, we are going to cover all the current affairs, important ones from the month of April. Okay? In the paid batches where we are regularly taking classes, in those classes, mostly we are able to take the thematic sessions as well. For example, the financial news, for example, the banking, economics related news, RBI circulars related news, national, international news. Here, we are only conducting the weekly classes. So at times, certain questions might be skipped because we only get 4 such weekly sessions in the entire month. And in the paid batches, we do have more than 12 to 15 classes. So great amount of questions are being able to cover. So if anybody is willing to join those batches, they are more than welcome to join. Achha, apart from that, those of you who are not part of our Telegram community, do join the Telegram space, because the notification for the latest video, the updates, the notification for a lot of examination information, some examination notification or vacancy has been notified. So you also get that on the Telegram community, plus a lot of quiz which we take part on that particular channel. Thank you very much for joining it. Goodbye. Take care. All the best for your preparation.